Hi, welcome to the second lecture on Chapter 8. We're continuing our analysis of sound in poetry. I want to focus on two techniques in this lecture, coming back to end rhyme, which we've already seen in the James Joyce poem, and then looking at onomatopoeia, the attempt to represent a thing or action by a word that imitates the sound associated with it. So let's take a look at a poem by D.H. Lawrence, Piano. Piano. Softly in the dusk, a woman is singing to me, taking me back down the vista of years till I see a child sitting under the piano in the boom of the tingling strings and pressing the small poised feet of a mother who smiles as she sings. In spite of myself, the insidious mastery of song betrays me back, till the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evenings at home, with winter outside and hymns in the cozy parlor, the tinkling piano our guide. So now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamor with the great black piano appassionato. The glamour of childish days is upon me. My manhood is cast down in the flood of remembrance. I weep like a child for the past. Let's start out by looking at what the poem says, stanza by stanza. We know that it's dusk, and a woman is singing to the speaker, and that singing, perhaps the specific song even, is taking the speaker back into the past, down the vista of years, looking back into the past, till he sees this scene: a child sitting under the piano, surrounded by the sound of the piano, and pressing the small feet of his mother, who is playing the piano. Her feet are playing the pedals of the piano, and she is singing. And even though he doesn't want to, he says, in spite of myself, he's gone back into the past. The insidious mastery of song betrays me back. So the song has this power to take him into the past and make it so real that ultimately the heart of me weeps to belong to those old Sunday evenings at home. So the song is so powerful that now he wants to be back in this scene, in the winter, in the evening, in the cozy parlor where his mother is playing hymns on the piano. And once he's back into that past, it doesn't matter what the singer does at this point. He says, so now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamor. In other words, even if the singer changes songs and becomes louder and more impassioned in the playing of the piano, instead of perhaps the softer singing that recalls his mother, it's too late. He's already taken back into the past. His manhood is cast down into the flood of memories, and he cries like a child for the past. Many of you may have had a similar experience where you've heard something, you've heard a kind of music, a particular song, or maybe it's been a scent or a taste, and you're immediately catapulted back into some experience, some memory you have of the past. And that's what Lawrence is working with here. How this woman singing softly to him at dusk suddenly brings him back into these past scenes of his childhood, and he's flooded with the remembrance. He's having all of those feelings again, but they're compounded with his continued realization that he's in the present and not a child in the past. So Lawrence employs end rhyme, and notice he has the same pattern throughout the poem. Me, see, strings, sings, song, belong, outside guide. So the first two lines of each stanza rhyme at the end, the second two lines of each stanza rhyme at the end. Clamor, glamour, cast, past. And now where do we find onomatopoeia? Well, since this poem is titled Piano, and it's about the experience of hearing this song and then recalling what it felt like as a boy to have his mother playing the piano and singing, we're probably going to find it in musical instances. And we do. The tingling strings of the piano. The sound and the word are the same, right? We look at onomatopoeia, and Lawrence is trying to represent the strings and the sound they make by a word that imitates the sound associated with them. And so here, the strings of the piano he describes as tingling. And later in stanza 2, he describes the piano sound as tinkling. And both of those are examples of onomatopoeia. So if you take the onomatopoeia in the poem and also the end rhyme, which adds an additional type of musicality, we have sounds created in the poem, in a poem about sound and the impact that sound has on the speaker. So it reinforces the importance of sound, the power that sound has for the speaker.